Welcome to the Mountain Magnolia Show, where your host, Mary Noble Braden, will introduce you to Swannanoa Valley's most interesting and most iconic individuals.
Let's give 'em something to talk about.
Hello to all you wonderful listeners out there. This is Mary Noble Braden on the Mountain Magnolia Radio Show. I want to thank everyone for listening to the radio show podcast and to remind y'all that our focus here is to reveal the heart and soul of our beautiful community here in Western North Carolina. And wow, do we have so much to be thankful for. We have such a beautiful community of people and these beautiful mountains. So before we start our show, I know I love to share a quote with y'all, and I woke up this morning early, picked out this quote. It is from Dr. Wayne Dyer's Living the Wisdom of the Tao, the Complete Tao Te Ching and Affirmations. So thank you, Dr. Wayne Dyer. It reads, I let go of my need for more, and I live in a state of pure gratitude. Giving is replacing my demand for more. Which brings more to you, you or what you own? I say what you gain is more trouble than what you lose. Love is the fruit of sacrifice. Wealth is the fruit of generosity. A contented man is never disappointed. He who knows when to stop is preserved from peril. Only thus can you endure long. Dr. Wayne he's one of my favorites. So thank you, Dr. Wayne. Well, guys, we have another fabulous guest today. I want to welcome Christey Carwile to the show. Christey, so much. Did I say your name right?
You did.
Okay, good. Thank you so much for coming on the Mountain Magnolia Show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yes, we're going to have a great show today. And Christey is the owner of Elemental Pilates. You guys, lots been happening there in town.
Yeah.
I've been a couple of times and I've seen a lot of local folks. So y'all are going to get to learn all about how Christey created this beautiful spot and what's going on there. So, Christey, one of the first questions we ask our guests is, how did you get to the area?
Well, I came to Black Mountain in 2007. I was fresh out of graduate school. I got my PhD at Southern Illinois University. I'm originally from Lynchburg, Virginia, so still a native of the Blue Ridge Mountains, but, a little bit more in the foothills. I went off to get my PhD in Anthropology, and then I got a job at Warren Wilson College right out of grad school. So that's what brought me here to Black Mountain, and I've been here for 18 years.
So are you still at Warren Wilson College?
I sure am.
Wow, so you're doing both.
Yes, I have 2 jobs.
Oh, I love it, though. Well, what a great place to work, though, Warren Wilson, and having a Pilates studio.
Yeah. The job at Warren Wilson, it's academic. It tends to be, a lot in the head. Thinking about theory and that type of thing. And movement is super important to me as well. I have to be able to move my body and not feel like I'm in my head all the time. So I've actually started teaching classes at Warren Wilson that are also dance and movement related. But I'd been in the fitness industry for over 20 years. I started doing dance classes and fitness classes when I was a grad student. Discovered dance, late in life, which would be in my 30s, is considered kind of late, and tried to incorporate that into my life a little bit more. So both in my academic life, but also I used to call it my side hustle, but it's a main hustle too. Yeah.
I mean, I totally agree. I think that it's so important to move your body, especially with the way we all work these days in the computer, and my body longs for it. Like, sometimes when I really need to figure things out, I just got to go run or I got to walk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And a lot of times, if I have some big aha moment or I need to push through a difficult time in my life, I just start running.
Absolutely. I understand completely. I think, I discovered dance sort of by accident and movement as a graduate student, but it got me through the death of my mother. It got me through the death of my father. It got me through divorces and losses and all of those things. It became so much more. And I think it's interesting. I think about it sometimes when people call things a workout. If you really think about that term, it's like you're trying to get work out of your body, right?
I love that.
Yeah, and so I tend to think a lot of that, of like if I'm, just overthinking things or really stressed out or working too much, my job at Elemental Pilates doesn't feel like work at all. It's like it's my happy place. It feels like I've been very lucky to find a way to not only make myself move, but to enjoy it and love it and have other people doing it with me in collaboration. It's just a really lovely thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. Well, I'm going to remember what you just said about, I need to go get my work out. That is a great analogy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, things stick in our bodies, as an anthropologist, we study the evolution of the human species, and I'm a cultural anthropologist, so I pay attention to human behavior. And, it's interesting to watch in American culture how much work is prioritized.
Yeah.
We forget how to say no. We take on things that maybe we should say no to towards. We think about things in terms of productivity. We live in a capitalist society where that is highly valued. The body is not valued as high as being productive and making things and selling things. So I think it's a really nice balance to try to bring in something that's embodied, that's movement. Because when we were, an earlier species, the stress was you're getting chased down by,
Right,
some
a tiger.
predator, right?
Yeah.
And we would hold that in our bodies, but by running, you're releasing all of that. You're releasing the cortisol, you're releasing all of that, stress in your body. Today, we're just sitting and taking it all in and taking it in and taking more in and taking more in. Mm-hmm. And if you don't move it out or work it out of your body, it's going to find its way out.
Yeah.
And often what I see with my clients is it comes out in pain, severe pain. And pain that, clients will come in and say, I saw, PETA, and I got all this work done and they said nothing's wrong with me. And I say, well, what's your stress levels looking like? And they go, oh, well, that's another story. And I always say, well, that's the story we have to start with, is that has to be moved out of your body somehow. And it can make a huge difference.
No, I totally agree. I mean, you're spot on. It gets stuck. And if you don't know how to move it, there are going to be problems. Mm-hmm. And that's a lot when people have either midlife crisis or, something really hurts. So This is great. Well, so let's talk about how you came upon opening up your beautiful studio, Elemental Pilates, right here in Black Mountain, guys. It's on the same spot where the laundromat is, and right next to Pepperoni's Pizza, just about a mile from town. What's the physical address?
It's 106 WNC Shopping Center Drive. So it's in the WNC Shopping Center.
It's beautiful, beautiful. So yeah, let's talk about how this came about opening a Pilates studio when you already had a full-time job.
Yeah, so as quickly as I got the job at Warren Wilson, I was also working at the Y, because like I said, I discovered fitness and movement when I was a grad student, and I wanted to keep doing it. So I was also pregnant when I got the job at Warren Wilson, so I had my child, and then 6 weeks after having her, I went to the Y and said, I'd like to have a job. I want to move. I taught like a cardio dance class for many years, and so I started teaching that at the Y. or actually it was Cheshire Fitness Club prior to the
then.
Y back then. Yeah. So I started there back in 2007 and taught these classes. And right before Cheshire sold it to the Y, clients kept coming to me and saying, we need Pilates. Like, we don't have any Pilates classes here at the Y. And I said, well, I used to teach it, and I had a certification in it in the past, and I had sort of stopped after I had my daughter. And the Y asked me if I would go ahead and start teaching it again, and so I did, and the classes just filled. They filled very quickly. And then when the pandemic hit, we did it outside. We went outside on the parking lot with our mats. We put our masks on. I kept teaching. They kept coming.
Wow.
I mean, it was amazing to watch that. You know, I think a lot of us really understood how much we needed to move during the pandemic when we were stuck behind screens, and, you know, our children were stuck behind screens, and so people just kept coming and being outside and wrapping up in coats and doing Pilates. Yeah. So, and then the classes just started getting bigger and bigger. And of course, you know, I love the Y and I love working at the Y, but it's a different model. Mm-hmm. You know, they want to bring a lot of members in, and they want to give them a good set of opportunities. But for me, having 30 people in a class was not ideal, because I want to pay attention to the people that are in front of me. And there's nothing that's one size fits all. There's no movement practice that's one size fits all. Whether it's yoga or Pilates or whatever, we bring our bodies to it. We have injuries, we have postural issues, and I couldn't work the way that I wanted to with my clients with Pilates. If someone came in and had osteoporosis and didn't tell me, I could be putting them in danger. So I started to dream about having a Pilates studio. How cool would that be to have my own space where I could do it the way that I wanted to do it, make it smaller, more customizable, work with people one-on-one if they wanted that. And I started teaching some clients out of my teeny little extra room and out of my house.
Oh, love it.
And that's how it started. I had some clients that came. We did that for a while.
Because you also had your own machine there. Also.
Yeah. By the time the pandemic rolled around, I had a reformer in my home. And so we were doing and several other pieces of equipment, and so I was doing that with folks, and it was just good. It was so good. I was loving that so much more than those big classes of 30 people. And then the next thing I know, people started kind of sending me photos of different places that were for rent and saying, hey, have you looked into this? And so the place over at NC.She Shopping Center opened up for rent, and I just went with it.
And it's a beautiful studio you have there.
Thank
now.
you.
It really is.
Thank you. I try to make it like a home away from home, because I spend a lot of time there. You know, I know you go to the shopping center and it's busy and there's all kinds of movement going on, but you walk into the studio and it feels like a very different space. A lot of clients tell me that, and yeah, it feels really good. So we opened up the studio, and a lot of my clients from the Y followed me and came, and we were going up from day one. You know, we already had people signed up to meet with me one-on-one before I even opened my doors.
Well, several times I've been, of course, every single time I go, I'm like, oh, I know you. And the women have such a good time, and they're like, oh my gosh, this place has changed my life. So really good feedback from before I even invited you on the show. So there's some folks that love it. So let's talk about what type of classes you offer at Elemental Pilates.
Yeah, so, a lot of people, if you're not familiar with Pilates, don't realize that it's actually a pretty involved system. So there is mat exercises and work that you can do, which a lot of people will confuse it with yoga. But yes, you can come in with a mat and do a group mat class with other people. So it doesn't get any higher. 12 is the max cap for the number of people that can be in a group class. So we have a number of Pilates classes. The reason that we're called Elemental, back to having people at my house, what was funny about it is I would have clients come in and maybe they had a bad day and they're like angry at their spouse or mad about something that happened at work or whatever. And it would come out because remember, working out, moving out, it comes out. And so sometimes I felt like people needed a fiery workout, something that was like to get the anger out, to get the intense emotions out. Some people would come in and they needed to slow down and they needed something that was more calm, restorative, and flowing like water. And then sometimes people would come in and they felt it just seemed like they needed more grounding. And so eventually Elemental came to be because it was, you can take a Pilates class that's an earth-based class, which is kind of the intermediate grounding class. Our water class is the calm, kind of restorative class, right? So there's no water involved. Sometimes people will call and say, do we have to wear a bathing suit? I'm like, no. It's just energy.
So water, earth, and fire.
And fire, yeah, yes.
I love that.
Yeah, so that's how Elemental came to be. I always wanted, the air was sort of the breath piece as well, because we spend a lot of time on our breath in Pilates. And we now have aerial classes as well. So we started aerial classes 3 months ago, post-Helene, when, I wasn't actually sure whether my business was going to make it after we flooded as a result of Helene. And then everything transformed, and I met a wonderful instructor who kind of landed in my space, and I'd always wanted to have that air piece played out a little bit more in the studio. So we now have aerial classes as well,
which are fabulous.
Yes, it's really great. It's really, really lovely. And we also have bar classes as well. So bar is like a combination of Pilates and it's ballet-inspired standing Pilates, but it's probably one of our harder classes that we teach if you really want to.
So you have the, I know you said the water, the earth, and the fire, but on more technical terms, it would be the aerial, the class with the equipment, right? Which you call what's the equipment called again?
Yeah, so we have lots of different types of equipment.
Okay.
Reformer is the most common
that's right.
one. Yes, and those are smaller. We call them semi-privates. You can come in and work on the equipment with up to 3 other people. So it's very small. You can also do the equipment classes as a duet. If you just want to come in with a friend and just work out with somebody that you know, you can come in with just another person. And then you can also do a private where you're getting personal attention from our instructors on the equipment itself. So,
something for everybody.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Well, I will say the aerial class, and I didn't realize this until Holly told me, is how much blood is going to your head when you are in the aerial and how much it really helps you focus and just kind of reset your mind.
Absolutely.
I know there can be, you have to be careful of how long you're in that position and how much fun it was swinging. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, I got this.
Yeah, it's a wonderful addition to the studio. It complements Pilates really, really well. It is sort of anti-gravity, so it's not, it's working against gravity. You don't have to worry about gravity as much. One of the lovely things about the reformer equipment is that you're lying down a lot.
Yeah. But
you can get so much done lying down. So if clients have issues and injuries, there's nothing that there's a lot of opportunity to still work with them, even if they have injuries. Same thing with aerial. Jamie is our aerial instructor, and she'll work with people no matter what they have going on. If they can't invert because they get dizzy, then she'll come up with modifications. But if you can get in there and swing around, just, that playfulness of like being a child again comes out, which is really fun. Like watching clients sort of start giggling and
I think that's why Holly likes it.
Yeah, it's just so fun, right? It's it's a blast. And then also it just decompresses the spine, it calms the nervous system, which again we talked about before. It's another way of working it out, but it's not, it might be a restorative based class that's more stretchy, or it could be a really advanced class where you're doing a lot of involved moves.
Well, and I have worked on a lot of different aspects of calming my nervous system down the last 2 years. I pretty much was forced to. And it's so funny now when I know I'm doing the work, I start yawning. Like yoga or even an aerial class I'll just like start yawning. I'm like, I'm relaxing now.
Yes. Yeah.
I want to learn a little bit more about the reformer because selfishly I want to come in and I want to see how it can reform my body.
So, Joe Pilates was a German immigrant to the United States. He came in the 1920s and moved to New York City. And he had already created patents for different equipment. He was an interesting person because he was a boxer, a gymnast, a circus performer. He even did some work for self-defense when he was in Europe. And then when World War I broke out, he was actually interned on the Isle of Man as a prisoner of war. And while he was there, he kept making sure that those who were interned were exercising. He kept saying, we have to keep moving. We're only going to get, worse if we're not moving and conditioning the body. And he developed a lot of the work that we now do today while he was interned.
Wow, what a good story.
Yeah, it's amazing. And so the equipment was all of his inventions. He invented reformers. We have chairs, reformers, ladder barrels, towers. We have all kinds of different equipment. And usually, like for folks out there listening and you never seen the equipment before, it can look kind of scary. I mean, you have to remember he built it in the 1920s, so he was using springs and chains and leather straps and so people walk in and go, oh my gosh, this looks like a torture device. People use the word torture a lot, but when you get on the equipment, you understand how amazing it is and why it still looks the way that it does. Now, the reformer is probably the most popular piece of equipment that Joe's created. It's basically a bed with a platform, a moving platform inside of it.
You hang your feet up.
Yeah, your feet will go up on a foot bar, typically. It depends on what you're doing, but your feet will go on a foot bar. There are leather straps behind you with handles. You can press away and move that carriage in and out, and there's a set of springs on it, so you're working with resistance.
It's really supposed to stretch your...
It stretches you out. Yes. Yeah. It strengthens you. The most important part, though, is it gives you feedback. So, physical therapists will send folks to us all the time. They'll say, you need Pilates, you need core work. I mean, who hasn't heard they need to strengthen their core, right? And people always think, oh, I need to go do crunches. But that is not what we're talking about. When you're working your deep core in Pilates, you're working you have to think about your torso as this cylinder. And your front body, where we think about your abs being, meets your obliques, which are on the sides, and then that meets your back. We tend to use our backs pretty much for everything because we sit a lot and our posture is off. We don't know how to find that deep core anymore. It doesn't lift us up.
Where is it? I can't find
it. Right? So just laying you down on the reformer and having you move out and pressing away from that foot bar and learning how to open your shoulders and open your chest, because we're always in this fight or flight mode. Our shoulders go forward, our head goes forward, our stomach turns off, our back starts to curl. and then our hips are in flexion all the time. And we do that so much that we can't find the core anymore. We can't lift up. Our diaphragm is smushed. We can't breathe well. It just affects everything. When you lay flat on the reformer and start to press away and learn how to cinch that core in from front, side, and back, the equipment gives you feedback. It helps you understand that you're doing it properly in a way that it's really hard to do if you're just freely doing it on your own.
Wow.
And that's the beauty of the equipment. Joe created the equipment to help people do the mat work, because the mat work is actually harder than the work on the equipment.
Okay. What a great story.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been talking about it, but now that you're putting it this way, I'm like, wait, I can't wait to do this. I was just thinking while you were talking, there's so many people with back problems, and I know it's really scary to get surgery.
Yeah.
Have you seen clients of yours come in and being able to reverse back problems?
Oh, yeah. Actually, the husband of one of my first clients that I was working with out of my home, she kept saying, I really want him to start seeing you, because they want to do back surgery. He's had a lot of issues in his lumbar spine. And it took her a while to finally get him in, but he is now a regular client and has not gone to get back surgery, has gained a lot of flexibility in his lumbar spine, has learned how to do his construction job properly with good form and keeping that core strong, and I mean deep core with all that technique, and has not had to go get surgery. So we have a lot of clients that come in with back pain, and again, we work really carefully with them, and to teach them how to get out of their backs and back into the full core. And once you can do that, I mean, all the way down to, like the water class, some people be like, oh, it's the easier class. Well, that's why I didn't call them beginner, intermediate, and advanced. But Pilates is not easy. Even if you go to an, beginner class, you're having to really pay attention to my cues and understand how to put that in your body, but to do it in a way that even if you're in your kitchen reaching up to grab a can from that top cabinet, you've learned how to do that in a way that doesn't go and arch your low back.
Oh, yeah, or
that
get on the stool. I just start climbing.
Yeah, it's not. You got to start with your stomach. You pull it in and up, and the more that you do it in Pilates, you don't have to think about it anymore. It just kicks in. But it's about training the body to. I put this on my website. It's like Pilates trains the body to do what it was originally designed to do. Yeah. But it's been lost because we live a lifestyle that doesn't allow us to tap into that strength anymore.
No, it's true. So for folks that are listening, if they wanted to start coming to your Pilates classes and had never done it before, how would you instruct them to take classes? Like, what would you start out with?
Yeah. So a lot of clients will come in and they've heard of the equipment and they're curious about it. And if they're interested in the equipment, I'll say, well, the best way to start is to start with the private session. At least one, so that you can get familiar with the equipment and know if that feels right for you. Also, the instructor gets time to know your body, right? That's one of the biggest things that we do in the studio, is get to learn your body's story. So when someone comes in, I need to know a lot about your body's story. And it's so fascinating because over the weeks that I'll meet with someone, a new story will emerge. They'll be like, oh, well, I forgot I broke this ankle back in, when I was like 32. And I'll be like, oh, really?
Like, oh.
Well, that's interesting because, you've compensated for breaking that ankle over the years, and you can still see it even today. So knowing those stories are really, really important. Some people, I would direct them to that water class. That's usually the beginner mat class. You don't have to think about the equipment. You can just come in with your mat. We also have mats in the studio. You spend most of the hour lying on your back.
Okay.
And so it's a lot easier for folks who have ankle or knee issues, they can just lay on their back. And we start with that and start learning how to find the deep core. And then that's the foundation for all the other classes. If people are pretty athletic and they've already been doing some kind of movement practice, then they could always come in and take the other classes as well. We do modifications enough for anyone. But I usually direct them to that class if they're really new, or to take a private with us first so they can get a sense, and we get a sense of who they are and what they need. Sometimes clients don't know what they need.
Yeah.
They'll walk in the door and I can look at them immediately and go, oh, you have a desk job. Your head is forward. Your upper back probably is stretched out and hurts.
Uh-oh.
Yep. Yes, right? I'll have this conversation at Warren Wilson with my students sometimes, and I'll talk about the core, and I'll see them all just sit up real tall. Like everybody in here right now just sat up really tall, right? Yeah. You become aware of the fact that you've let go. You have totally let go, and that core turns off. And usually the back, when you let go and flex forward, where are you feeling that? You're feeling it in your back.
Yeah, for sure.
It happens in your back. So the more that we can learn that person's story, and I can look at them, assess them. But I also have to say, Mary, like, Joe was thought to be one of the, an early physical therapist, even though he didn't have a degree. He knew the body well. He had worked with his body really well. But I think his gift was he paid attention to what he was seeing. Mm-hmm. And I think the other piece about the studio that I think is really important is knowing people's stories. If I find out that a person's family member, died, or they experienced something really intense in their life, but yet they're shocked at why they can't move their left shoulder, I'm like, well, you just had a really major, intense emotional thing that happened to you, and your body is telling you that.
Yeah.
And so that's a piece that often comes up you don't necessarily think about in a Pilates studio, but that comes up a lot, is what's going on in your life, how much stress do you have, and how do we need to work that to release some of that stress out of your body and bring you back to some kind of balance in your body.
No, for sure. It's so important. I think it's apparent we all have to take care of ourselves, but sometimes I don't think people realize how much our body has its own brain. I mean, we have a brain here, but it stores things, and it remembers things.
It does.
And so the more we all can learn to relieve some of that, release some of that.
Yes. And it does take help. I think we've all been in situations where, you're in pain and you don't know why. And you're like, maybe you've tried going different places and nothing has really worked out, and you're just like, well, I don't know I guess I'm just getting older, or we make excuses for it, right? And it's a scary place to be.
We were talking about as soon as we walked in here today. I was like, I feel a little soft right now.
Yeah, there's all these reasons why our bodies change. It could be age, it could be stress, it could be changes in our lifestyle, whatever it is. But sometimes it takes an outsider. We all know this, right? We're better at sometimes taking care of others than we are ourselves.
Of course. That's my motto, for
right?
sure.
And we're always like, oh, what can I do for you? But it's hard for us to look at ourselves. And so sometimes it takes someone else. And that's the beauty of a studio approach to Pilates or movement, is that you've got an eye on you, and that person is paying attention to what your body's patterns are. Mm-hmm. What is your body saying that you can't see? Because you're not trained to see it. You're feeling pain, but you don't know why.
Yeah, you just feel inside of it.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's interesting how you said, you as soon as people walk in, you're like, oh, they have a desk job, or, oh yeah, that person likes to eat chocolate.
Well, at the studio, so one of the things in the mission is that we want to encourage movement no matter what your shape or ability is. And when I say shape, I mean like condition of your body, but also your literal shape.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, in the fitness world, I think we're really hard, women in particular, right? I won't say that men can't be either, but we are really hard on ourselves. The jokes that I hear clients make of their own bodies on a day-to-day basis when they come in, it's just fascinating to me. So I've tried to create a space where people can be friendly. It's a welcoming space. It's a judgment-free space.
Yeah.
That is really important. I think that one of the hardest things for people to do is to walk in, especially, let's say you're struggling with your weight. And one of the hardest things to do is to walk into like a gym, for instance, and just be like, okay, I'm gonna start off some new stuff. There's always this insecurity or sense of judgment that comes up. So I think a smaller environment can often be really helpful with that. And I think back to that point of community that, this is all about, right? Is when people feel like there's a sense of community in a space, they don't have to worry about that sense of judgment anymore. It's like people are going, all right, you got that inversion today on the aerial. It doesn't matter what your shape of your body is or how old you are. Like, you just did something really amazing with your body. And that's really the focus. Is we don't talk about dieting culture or, give people hard times in the space. It's about what can we do? What can we do? What challenges can we overcome with our bodies? And it doesn't mean you have to be toxically positive about your body either, right? I mean, there's a whole, body neutral approach to things too. But it's more about come as you are and get moving.
Right.
And how do we
Be
get you
yourself and
moving?
enjoy your friends there.
Yeah. How do we get you moving in a way that's safe for you, right? That's another priority is, you can come in and challenge yourself, but you need to do it within boundaries of safety. And we've got our eye on you to make sure that you're not going to hurt yourself.
Yeah. I love all of this. I love your story. Oh, how you really studied people, and now you're studying the body and the community you're building at Elemental. I really think it's a great. Not only I think it's a great place. I got feedback from a lot of the folks that I know, and they're loving it. So thank you for being a big part of getting this community in shape, and also empowering our bodies and loving our bodies, because they deserve to be loved too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, it's my pleasure. It really, truly is. It's a wonderful thing to experience with other people and to help them on that journey.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Well, so do you have anything else you want to share before we go into our closing question?
Well, I guess one thing that I would share, kind of, jumping off of what we were just talking about in terms of community, is, I think it's clear. I don't just see it as a job. There's so much more to it than that. But when our studio flooded during Helene, that was a pretty transformational time for all of us. And for me, not only was I kind of going through another personal transformation in my life that was really hard, and Helene hit, and then I had to make the decision about whether I was going to reopen this studio that I had put my heart and soul into.
Yeah.
And just seeing it, wet and flooded, and like trying to figure out what I was going to do, but still seeing the all that work and all that progress. And I think the most important thing is that studio belongs to my clients. It's not just mine, because it wouldn't be open today if my GoFundMe, with all of my clients that chose to give to help me get open again, if they hadn't have given back to the studio and showed how much they loved it and wanted it back, it may not even be here today. And I think that's a really important thing to say, because the community got created, and the community came and supported me when I needed it. I'd spent all these years supporting them, and then they came back and supported me. And it was an absolutely beautiful thing. And I think about it every day. It's given that space even more meaning. And we're even stronger now, right? I've got a new instructor. We've got these aerial classes going. We've got more and more people coming to the studio. And every time I walk in the door, it just makes me feel really good.
Oh my gosh, what a story. One of the things I've been telling people throughout the year since the storm is we have all had to, it's easy to give, but we've had to learn to receive as well.
Oh, yes.
And so you got to experience what it's like to receive, which is not easy.
It's not easy at all. It's not.
And kudos for sticking it out and really developing a beautiful Pilates community in Black Mountain.
Yes.
Yeah. We are lucky to have you and all the folks over at Elemental.
Thank you.
I'm excited to. I'm ready for a private class on the reformer.
All right, bring it on.
Well, guys, we're going to ask one more question, and then we're going to let y'all know the hours of Elemental and how you can sign up. So one of the closing questions, Christy, is we ask our guests to share one thing with the audience that has changed their life for the better.
Yeah. Gosh, there's so many things, and this might sound weird to end with. But I think loss, whether death, loss, that's truly the change in my life. Is to experience deep loss means that you view the world really differently. Whether it's a loss of a studio or the loss of a marriage or the loss of a loved one, I think that's been the most transformational for me. It's something that I hang on to, not in a bad way, but it's always in the background as something that helps me to be really grateful for what I have, but also to just live life to the fullest, to not be scared to take risks every now and then, to jump into something that maybe you're hesitant towards, but it might change your life if you do it. I think that's probably been one of the biggest things for me.
That's beautiful. Not having an attachment, because we come into this world alone and we leave alone, and so sometimes put into places where we really have to strive or to push.
Yeah, and then speaking of the Tao and like the embracing of impermanence, if Helene has done anything, if we can think back on it now in terms of blessings, because I know we're all in different places with it and have different thoughts and feelings about it, but Helene reminded us that impermanence really is the reality. And for me, it's like, it helps me to, I like to say, flow with the go. It helps me to flow with the go, because I think we get so wrapped up in trying to hang on and be consistent and make everything predictable.
Because it's going to happen. The flow is going to happen.
It's going to happen.
I mean, if you're hanging on, you're probably having a hard time.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think just being okay with the fact that things aren't permanent, and it makes me think of my everyday really differently. So
I love it. Well, guys, let's talk about how you can sign up for a Pilates class. So we talked about where the location, right next to Pepperoni's or the Black Mountain
Laundry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And tell us how folks can sign up for classes?
Yeah, so the easiest way is to go to our website. So we're at elemental-pilates.com. And there's a number of tabs up there. There's tabs for aerials, there's tabs for group mat classes, and then there's tabs for equipment sessions. So if you're looking for work on the reformer, like for you, Mary, like if you wanted to sign up, that's where you would go, is go to equipment sessions. If you want a group class, like a bar class or any of those other Pilates mat classes, you'd go to group mat classes. Aerials, you'd go to aerial. That's the easiest way to sign up. It's pretty easy. Some folks, if you're not digitally inclined or you don't prefer to sign up online, we do sometimes have clients that give us a call, and we can sign you up, and then you can pay when you get to the studio.
Perfect. All right. So y'all go on the website or give Elemental Pilates a call, and I promise you will not be sorry you signed up. It is really a cool place, and I'm really looking forward to my reformer class here soon. So, well, Christy, thank you so much. I've enjoyed our conversation.
Me too. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, and guys, we enjoyed revealing the heart and soul of another beautiful community member. So I'm looking forward to seeing how everything unfolds for you in this next year. I'm really happy you got through Helene.
Thank you. Me
Big
too.
shout out to all your supporters.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, thanks again for listening to Mountain Magnolias, and a big shout out to Bigfoot and Cameron. Cameron, thank you for all you do. You're very special. I really appreciate you. All right. Have a beautiful week. And until next time, this is Mary Noble Braden.
Thank you for joining us for Mountain Magnolias with your hosts, Mary Noble Braden and Leanne Lewis. Join us next time for more interesting stories from the Swannanoa's most interesting people as we give you something to talk about.
Let's give 'em something to talk
Mountain Magnolias is a production of Noble & Company Realty in Black Mountain. For more information, please call them at 828-357-5243. 828-357-5243.